Hey y'all, my name is Angela Shirk and I am a recovering food addict, and I can finally admit that after now that I know that I actually have a problem and how to fix it, okay? And I just recently learned all this last year during the COVID pandemic, okay? And I wanted to come and share a little bit about my story, my background and everything with you, and a little bit about food addiction. And if this is anything that resonates with you that you think, oh my gosh, I might have, on my Facebook page, there is, in my albums, I do have a food addiction part, and it's got a quiz that you can take, and if you and depending on how you do on the quiz, it'll tell you whether you might have one or you don't. And then if you do, I can definitely get you hooked up with the group that I am with. I love the group. It has been a huge support. I'm so thankful that I found this group, because when I started out doing it, trying to do it on my own, and I can't do it on my own. I need the support system. I need the different interactions with people who are going through the same thing that I'm going through. And I also need people who are knowledgeable about food addiction. And that's who I have learned a lot from, and doing a lot of study on my own and that kind of stuff. And it is a neuro problem in our brain, just like when somebody's addicted to cocaine or when somebody's addicted to alcohol or something like that. It's just the same exact thing in our brain as that does, okay? So let me take you back on my story, okay, and everything. So I was always a thick little girl, and I played sports, and I ran around in the neighborhood, and I rode horses, and I ran in the fields and everything like that when I was little, and did all that kind of good stuff. And then in high school and everything, I played sports. Middle school, I played sports, but I grew up with pop or soda, depending on where you live. Ice cream, my family loves ice cream, and I get it naturally because I love ice cream. So we used to eat that all the time, and we used to drink soda all the time, or pop, whichever. And my grandparents used to do awesome cooking, so I would eat everything on my plate, and then I could go back for seconds. I was just one of those kids, okay? I like to eat. And then I went to college, and granted, yeah, I know, I went on diets in high school, and I lost weight, and then I would gain it back, and I lost weight, and I'd gain it back. And the same thing with college, and this has been the yo-yo all my life, okay? And I couldn't quite figure out why I couldn't keep it off, okay? Why I was struggling so bad, and I'd fall back into my bad habits, and I just didn't understand why. So, then also too, you have people who are in your life that are telling you you're fat, telling you you're awful, telling you that you're not good enough, or anything like that. And that just makes it even worse when you don't have a support system around you at all. It's just not great. And so you end up eating more, even though you aren't hungry, even though you it doesn't really taste that great, but you still eat, okay? It's like a closet eater. And I was a closet eater for years, okay? And and you can be successful in other parts of your life. And this is what's hiding in your life is the closet eating, okay? And for me, that's what it was. Some people, it's other stuff, but for me, it was being a closet eater. I've been very successful in my business life. I've done everything that I have set out to accomplish. And I think I put so much emphasis in my business life because my personal life was going down the tubes. So I had my own business. I thought I was getting married and going to be married for life, but I wasn't. But actually, I have realized now, God has showed me it was a good thing, because I was married to someone who wasn't very nice. He was verbally abusive, and he was never physically abusive. He was just always verbally abusive, And so when he was gone on his business trips, I call them business trips. When he was gone, we would go to the store and we would buy ice cream and cookies, and that kind of stuff. Well, when I was by myself in the house, I would sit and eat the entire box of ice cream. I would eat the entire, Oreos were my cookies. So I'd eat the entire thing of Oreos. Then I would have to go out and buy more so I could put it back in the house before he got home. So then that way I wouldn't get shit about it. Okay. Excuse my language. I wouldn't get crap about it from him. And I would then eat however many was in it before I ate the entire thing. Same with the ice cream, and put it back in the freezer. And he would never know the difference. The only difference was I was gaining tons of weight, and he kept reminding me of it, that I was gaining tons of weight. So even though I was running my own business and I was successful with my own business, my home life stunk. So I was a closet eater. So I was constantly eating. So then during lunch or breakfast or whatever, I was always running to McDonald's or, you name it. I always had food in my hand. Food was kind of like my comfort zone. I just didn't know how to stop it. And I didn't know why I was doing it. And I would eat when I wasn't even hungry, not even hungry. And I would eat, and I wouldn't stop when I was full. I would just keep eating and keep eating and keep eating, and I would make myself miserable. And it was just a downward spiral that I just didn't know how to get out of. So then, okay, I bowed up, and I lost 145 pounds. During that time, I didn't eat any sweets. I stuck mostly to protein and vegetables and water. I didn't have any of the other stuff. I did a lot of praying to God. I did a lot of spending time with him, still working business and doing all that. I lost 145 pounds, and then, I fell off the wagon. I started back in eating the stuff that I shouldn't be eating that makes me gain weight, because I love pasta and I love the sugars and I love the ice cream and all that kind of stuff, which because I've told you. And so I found myself back in that situation and eating and eating and eating, and which resulted in me gaining some of my weight back. I didn't gain it all back. I gained some of my weight back, okay? And during the COVID-19, I had lost enough weight and I was in such great shape that I ran a half marathon. Now, granted, I didn't run it great. I ran it in 3 hours, but I ran a half marathon and I finished. And that was a huge accomplishment to me. And then that January after, all of a sudden I started having some health problems, okay? And that kind of got me depressed. And then I started eating the foods that I shouldn't be eating anymore. And I would just keep ordering out and I would just keep eating. And then it became, I was eating more and more and more. And then COVID hit. And then I got even more depressed, had more anxiety, and just kept, I would go to the store and buy ice cream and cookies again and sit here, and peanut butter, and sit here and eat the whole entire thing, okay? That was my life. And I got to the point during COVID, I'm like, I'm getting ready to turn 50 years old, okay? October 1st, I turned 50, and I was like, I'm getting ready to turn 50 years old. I don't want to live my life anymore like this. I've got to figure something out. So I started doing a lot of research and trying to find out if this was even a thing or if it was all in my brain, and I just needed to quit, and I was trying to do affirmations, and I'm still praying to God, and stuff like that. But for some reason, I just couldn't quit. Found a lot of different addiction recovery groups that are out there. It's just not broadcasted like AA is and everything else. But I finally found one, doing some research. I finally found one. Her name is Joan Infield. She is awesome. I took her quiz that she had. I listened to her videos, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense to me. It's in my brain. It's how my brain is functioning. It's how my brain thinks, and I need to change it. And I took her quiz, and that's what's on my page, so you can go to it in the albums and you can take that quiz and see, and then I can send you to her site. But it's amazing what I found out and everything like that. So in October, I decided to involve myself more with it, okay? And I joined up with her. And every day, she's feeding information into us every single day. I get emails every day on podcasts. There's live chats. There's just all this different information that I can listen to either on my own or I can do it during the chats or whatever, and you get so much support. And she helps you too. Like I stick to, yes, I eat now, okay? It's not that I don't eat. I don't snack a lot, but I do eat, okay? So I have learned how to eat 6 ounces of protein, a cup of raw vegetables, a cup of cooked vegetables, and then if I want a baked potato or a sweet potato, I eat half of it. Okay. And then I have my fruit. I have a cup of fruit. Okay. And that's what I have at my meals. Now, granted, in the mornings, I will drink my protein shake. Okay. I do a protein shake. I don't eat breakfast. I do a protein shake, and I do put my super greens and my super reds in it because, as you know, I don't know if you followed my other story, but when I was losing all the weight and I lost 145 pounds and I was eating correctly, I was also supplementing it with supplements. So that way I would get the help that I need to keep me going and to keep me healthy inside. Okay. And if you want to hear that story, just go to that story and it'll tell you all about that. But, so I started that. I actually started October 3rd, since October 1st was my birthday. My girlfriends took me out, and then it was like a whole weekend celebration. Okay. So I didn't want to not eat good, if that makes sense. I wanted my last hurrah to eat. And so I did. And I had cake, and all that kind of stuff. So, and then after October 3rd, I decided, because she gives you a list of stuff that you can eat. She gives you a list of stuff that you really need to kind of stay away from, because you really want to stay away from processed foods. Processed foods will mess with your brain and mess with everything in your body, and it's not good for you, okay? Doing all this, I've learned so much, and I journal every day. I still spend my time with God and asking Him for help, because every morning I get up, I have to ask for help, okay? Because I could fall back into eating the ice cream and everything so easily. So when I get stressed out, when I get depressed, or when I get angry or whatever, now I go to a podcast and listen to it, or I go to my uplifting empowerment books. Every morning I say affirmations because I have to. I have them written in my bathroom on my wall. I have them on my phone, so if I'm having a bad moment, I can look at them. So I'm finding other ways to cope with issues without turning towards food, okay? And it's amazing, I'm not in it to lose weight. I mean, yes, I want to lose the weight, but I'm in it to get better. I'm in it to be able to live a healthy life. I want to be able to live a long, healthy second half of my life. And the only way to do this is to really hunker down and change my habits. It's hard. I have to change the neurons in my brain. And it's really hard to do that without help. Okay, so because I was constantly thinking of food. I was constantly thinking, where's my next meal? What's going to be my next meal? And this was right after I ate breakfast or right after I ate lunch. I mean, it was like constant all day long. And so I've had to learn how not to do it, how to turn off. And that's where the community comes in. That's where the chats come in, because everybody gets together and we talk about stuff and we see what's working for other people and we try it, and we just bounce things off of each other. And so I didn't lose any weight at first, but I could tell that I was feeling a lot better. Now, the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks was really hard for me because I detoxed. Because I was getting completely everything out of my system. I had no caffeine, no sugars, no artificial sugars. Yes, I was eating fruit and stuff, and that has the natural sugars in, which is fine, but I wasn't having any of the other stuff. So the first 2 weeks was really, really hard for me, okay? I had headaches, I was sluggish, I was in a bad mood all the time. It was just crazy. But then after I got through with that, I started feeling better, and I started having more energy and all this kind of good stuff. And I was even going through that when I was still taking my It Works Greens and my It Works Reds, okay? But that's okay, because I was detoxing. And once I got detoxed, everything started feeling better. I started having more energy. I started being in better moods. Started being able to, sorry, my dogs are moving the thing. I started being able to handle situations that came my way, with God's help. And it was amazing. And so Thanksgiving came and I maintained it through Thanksgiving. Now on Thanksgiving, I did use a cheat meal, you know, my cheat day, but I didn't eat that much. You know, I had stuffing, which I'm not supposed to have, but I had a little bit. I measured everything out. Everything was good. And, felt great, came back after Christmas, December, and still did great. Had a few cookies here and there. Yes, I broke down and had a few, but I kept thinking to myself, you know, I'm gonna stop. And I did. I was able to handle it. Technically on the program, you're not supposed to have any of it, but I did. Then I went home for Christmas and I ate, you know, everything that was there, that my mom cooked. And my mom cooked healthy. You know, my parents eat healthy and they don't make big portions. So it helped me out a lot. And I didn't have any ice cream over Christmas, even when it was out in front of me. I take that back. I had it one night and it didn't taste good to me. And my taste buds have changed. And so I didn't have any sweets or anything like that. I did have a few cookies, but they didn't really taste that great. So I stopped eating them. Come back after Christmas. Went to weigh in 2 weeks later because I needed to weigh in for my group, and I actually had lost 16 pounds and 13 and a half inches, okay? Just from doing this. And remind you, I'm still taking my It Works products, but I'm eating the way I'm supposed to be eating. And I'm eating what's on my list and with only a couple, you know, short days. And so anyways, we're continuing to doing it. As of today, I have lost another 5 pounds, which is awesome. So I do have a goal that I have in mind, which I will probably meet come May or June if everything stays on track. And then this is a lifelong thing. This isn't something that's so I'm having to change habits. And here's my thing. It's a new day. Every day is a new day. Every minute is a new minute. Every second is a new second. So if I fall off, I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm going to pick myself up and get right back to it. Okay. And it's actually helped my confidence. It's helped my self-esteem. It's just built me up completely. Sorry, my dog is moving the thing. Stop it, Stella. And it's just been great. And so I wanted to share the story. Granted, I have not been on this journey long on my food recovery, but I feel like I've got a grasp on it. And I would love to help other people get into this program with me if you need it, because you have to be truthful with yourself. You have to be extremely vulnerable and very truthful and real with yourself in order to get the healing going and to do this program. And that's what I have finally done in my life. And if I can help someone else, I will. But that's my story. You can find me on Facebook under Angela Lynn Shirk, or you can find me on Instagram at Angela Lynn Shirk. And then I'm also on TikTok too. So, follow me, friend me, send me a friend request, hit me up in Messenger. I will be more than happy to chit chat with you, give you more information. And if it's right for you, it's right for you. Okay. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.